One caveat that I want to point out. When we look at our option link component and our option div component, one of the great things about using the CSS block was that if we needed to ever change the appearance of our links in our header, and we were rendering different types of base HTML components, such as here how we're using link and here we're using div, we're able to easily modify the styles in one place, versus if we had written this inside of each component respectively, like so, then we would have to modify them. So for example, if we needed to change the padding, we would have to manually change it here to 15 and also reflectively change it in the option div. Whereas by using these option container style CSS blocks, we can change it here and have those changes reflected everywhere, right? So there's a great usage in this CSS block style, which I wanted us to learn. But there's actually another way to make it even easier if the only difference between these two style components is what type of base element it needs to return. So what we can actually use, instead of doing it like this, and using the CSS block, is inside of the component itself. If option link and option div are the same, and we just want this option link but as a div, we can actually literally change it by using the as property and then passing in the string of the element we want. And you can even also pass it a component like so, if you passed it in like this, if you wanted to use, say, any of our regular components that we've written before. But instead, I want a div, so I'll pass it as a string. And now I'm able to see that our sign out button, which is the component we just replaced, is still a div. So that's what's really cool, is that by just doing this, we're actually now able to reduce the amount of code that we've written. So now we can remove the CSS. We can remove this. Actually, let's copy over these styles first. Right, because now we can remove this. We can remove the option div component. And now we can just paste in these styles. We can remove our option div import. And we're no longer importing link as well inside of this component because all of our components are now in the styles folder. So now we'll see that we've reduced the amount of overhead we have in the amount of code we had earlier, while also keeping sure that our header is the same. So I just wanted to point out that that's actually a really cool little thing we can also use. So we're just trying to explore as many of the tools that style components gives us and how much flexibility we have within this paradigm. Okay, now let's continue converting our application over using style components.